Calista B supporting for Kids First, age 16, and today I'm here with Sierra McCormick, who plays Faye in The Vast of Night. How are you doing, Sierra?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm good as well. So, to start off, what attracted you to work on a film like The Vast of Night?
Well, reading the script, I was really struck by the character of Faye. And, characters like that for actresses don't come around all that often, unfortunately. So just seeing that she was, had all of these just like rich, very real qualities, and she was multifaceted and just like an interesting female character. And she has this wonderful arc in the film where, at the beginning of the film, she's more timid and shy and maybe hesitant to assert herself in situations. But by the end of it, she's leading Everett on this adventure. She's telling him what to do. She's asserting herself. She's taking charge on this, adventure that they're having. So I thought that was really, really, it attracted me to the script and the character because, she got to have this really interesting sort of character arc in the movie. And also just some of her personal qualities reminded me of my younger sister, actually. So my younger sister is much more of the inspiration for Faye, at least the way I portrayed her. So all those things kind of made me pretty excited to hop on board.
Yeah, that's interesting. And, I can definitely relate because I actually do a little bit of acting myself.
Oh,
and,
cool.
I know that feeling like when you find a character and you're just like, wow, I really am interested in this character and I would really love to play her. That's really fascinating to me.
It is. And, it's just fun when you haven't gotten the opportunity to do something like that yet. That usually is the number one reason I like to take certain roles, is that I haven't done anything like that yet. And that was definitely the case with The Vast of Night and Faye. I hadn't gotten to do something like that ever. So that was probably the most number one, like, big reason that I wanted to join and do the movie and was excited.
Yeah, that's interesting. And, The Vast of Night is also a very clear homage to the Twilight Zone, arguably one of the most influential shows from that sort of era. Mm-hmm. So do you have any experience with the Twilight Zone? And if so, what's your favorite episode?
Ooh, okay, so my sister is a Twilight Zone nut. She's seen almost all of them. Whereas I'm really bad at seeing any episode of any TV show. I'm just really bad at catching up on those. So obviously the Twilight Zone has all this, all these episodes that I have not caught up on. But my favorite one is the episode, I don't remember what it's called, but it's the one where you see all these nurses and stuff, and they're caring for this one woman, and they're oh, how could, she's so ugly, and how could she ever stand to look like that, and stuff like that. And then it's kind of revealed that they all look like pig people, and then she's normal. And I don't know, I always like that episode because it kind of reminded me that beauty and stuff like that is very relative and very a cultural thing, and it can be changed, and it can be, whatever you want it to be, because obviously, the actress in the Twilight Zone episode looked like, you and I, and everyone else had this weird pig face, but everyone was saying that she was so hideous just because she was different. And I saw that at a really young age, so I guess it's kind of obvious why that would have a huge impact, on a young girl. So that's my favorite episode.
Yeah, I think I've heard of that one before, because I know there's a few specific episodes that are specifically really popular that kind of everyone, even if you haven't seen the show, kind of know.
Yeah.
Mhm.
That's definitely my favorite one, I think. From the ones that I've seen, I still have many more to watch.
Oh yeah.
Lots and lots more.
Oh yeah. So in what ways did The Vast of Night, even as someone who is not that experienced with the Twilight Zone, in what ways did it sort of remind you of that sort of style?
Well, the time period does a lot of that, just because whenever you combine, the 50s and potential UFO extraterrestrial, everyone's going to think of that. And I think the show purposefully plays on a lot of those tropes and those sort of characteristic things about Twilight episodes, or essentially any of those sort of old school chamber drama TV shows about something supernatural or extraterrestrial. And so I think the movie purposefully plays on a lot of those sort of tropes and ideas. And then I think that also it sort of it treats everything, the movie treats, you know, the time period and the subject matter like really, really seriously, which is interesting because sometimes like, you know, a lot of movies that are like about that, it'll kind of be this very heightened, very like big sort of punchy, I guess thing, which isn't bad, but I thought it was really interesting, you know, reading The Vast of Night, how it took this concept that could, you know, has been and could be like really, you know, overdone or overplayed, and it like treated it, it treated it in like a very grounded sort of way. And that also like really attracted me to the movie in general and the script, because, you know, it took this concept that I'd seen been done in this very sort of heightened fashion, which isn't, you know, good or bad. I've just seen it done that way. And then taking it and, you know, doing this very different thing with it where you know, treat it very in this very grounded sort of like almost Linklater-y manner. And that's kind of how it was described to me by Andrew initially. And I don't know, I think those things were, you know, very attractive and like very interesting and very new and different. I hadn't read anything like that in a long time, so.
Yeah, that's interesting. And I think it's interesting also that you pointed out the time period that the film takes place in. Because I personally, there are a few specific like historical aesthetics that like kind of really speak to me. And the 50s is definitely one of them. So would you say that like, do you enjoy doing period pieces and working with like older aesthetics and technology and the stories and that kind of environment?
Actually, that's what drew me to the role also and the movie, is because I hadn't gotten to do a period piece really ever. This was my first one, and I'd always wanted to do it, and I'd always been super interested in history just for one, and then also like film history and like, you know, portraying things that were, you know, in film and portraying different time periods and stuff like that. And so I had never gotten the opportunity like really sink my teeth into like a very specific time period that wasn't like current. And so getting to do that was really, really fun. And I loved every single part of it, you know, including like the outfit, the wardrobe, the makeup, like really adhering to those kind of standards and stuff for like costume and like makeup and hair. I really enjoyed that because it also helped me sort of really dive into like becoming Faye and sort of, you know, removing myself and like really like sinking into her like psyche and character. And a lot of that, you know, a lot of what helped me was putting on this like wardrobe that she would have worn, like wearing these glasses and like having my hair in a little ponytail and looking completely different from myself. And so like I would love any other opportunity to get to do that. It was like so fun, and you know, learning about all the different props and learning how to use them, that was also like half the fun on the shoot, was learning and getting to like look at all these amazing antiques that they sourced from, you know, all over the country. It really just kind of gave me like an insight as to how all this technology worked, and I never knew about any of that before the movie. And so I think it was like at the same time like super satisfying and also like an awesome like kind of learning experience. I don't know, I would definitely do it again anytime.
Yeah, that sounds really cool, and that was definitely one of my favorite aspects of the film, because I liked seeing that type of like aesthetic. And you know, since you've now worked in a period piece, what kind of era would you want to do next if you were going to do another period piece?
Oh, good question. I'd love to do like a full-on costume drama, like Dangerous Liaisons, like something like ridiculous where I get to be like in full like hoop skirt, corset, the whole deal. Like I would love to do something like that, just because I love fashion and style and just like garments, clothing, you know, in general. And so that time period would be so much fun for me to get to like visit as a character, just getting to wear those clothes. And, you know, I just think that that would be really, really fun and really, really challenging for me.
Yeah, that sounds super cool. And so thank you so much for this interview, Sierra. This was a lot of fun.
Totally. Thank you, Calista. You're like super smart. I wish I was like able to be, you know, interviewing people and talking, you know, movies with people the way you are when I was your age. So.
Aw, thank you.
Yeah.
And thank you so much for listening to this interview with Sierra McCormick. If you like this interview, make sure to check out the Kids First website and, of course, all the other Kids First reporters. My name is Calista B, and I will see you all later. Bye-bye!
What's going on? There's something in the sky.